It was a quiet evening, and the small house was filled with the soft glow of yellow lights. The sister sat on the old couch, her hands resting on her knees, her eyes on the door. She had been waiting for hours, thinking about the promise her brother made. He had told her in the morning, "Don't worry, sis. Today I'll bring you something special. You wanted a pet, right? Just wait." Her heart had been full of excitement all day. She imagined a furry cat, maybe a cute puppy, maybe even a strange alien pet like the ones she had seen in the marketplace near the outer station. She wanted something small, soft and loyal, something that could stay with her in her lonely hours. The clock ticked slowly, each second stretching like a long rope. She tapped her foot, growing impatient. "Where is he?" she whispered to herself. The air was heavy with silence, broken only by the distant hum of machines outside. Finally, the door opened with a soft creak. Her brother stepped inside. His clothes were dusty, his boots worn, and his eyes carried a spark of mischief. He was holding something large, something hidden under a white sheet. The bundle was taller than a child, but smaller than a grown man. The sister's eyes widened. She stood up quickly. "Brother!" "Is that my pet? What did you bring? Show me." He smiled, but it was not the usual smile. It was strange, almost secretive. He placed the covered figure in the middle of the room. The shape moved slightly, and the sister gasped. "It's alive?" "Of course it is alive," the brother said softly. "But it's not what you think," the sister frowned. She felt a strange chill on her skin. "What do you mean? You promised me a pet. Did you bring a creature from the market?" Her brother shook his head slowly. His eyes glittered. "No, sister. I brought you something better. Something no one else has. Something special." The sister stepped closer to the shape, her breath unsteady. The sheet moved again, as if the thing under it wanted to come out. A low sound escaped, soft, almost like breathing. Her heart beat faster. "Brother, stop playing games." "What is it?" He looked at her for a long moment, then pulled the sheet away in one swift motion. The sister's mouth fell open. She took a step back, her eyes wide with shock. It was not an animal, not a pet, not even a strange alien creature. It was a human. A young man sat there, his hands tied loosely in front of him, his eyes blinking in the sudden light. His hair was messy, his face pale, and his clothes simple and torn. He looked weak, but his gaze was sharp, alive, questioning. The sister gasped loudly. "Brother!" "What is this? That's not a pet. That's a human being." Her brother only smiled, calm and certain. "Yes, a real human. That's my gift to you." The room fell into silence. The sister could hear her own heartbeat thundering in her ears. She could not believe what she was seeing. A human here in her living room, sitting quietly like some kind of strange offering. She pointed a trembling finger. "You can't be serious. Where did you find him? Why would you bring a human to me?" The brother walked slowly to the side of the room, poured himself a glass of water, and spoke in a steady voice. "You wanted a companion. You wanted someone who could stay with you, understand you, talk to you. No pet can do that. Only a human can. That's why I brought him." The sister shook her head violently. "No, this is wrong. You can't just bring a human here like a gift. He's not a pet, he's a person." The young man looked at her then. His eyes were tired, but there was a spark inside them, a quiet strength. He said nothing, only studied her with careful eyes, as if weighing her reaction. The air grew heavy, thick with unspoken questions. The sister felt fear crawling inside her chest, but also curiosity. Who was this human? Why was he here? Where had her brother found him? She whispered to herself, almost too softly to hear. "What have you done?" Her brother turned to her with that same secretive smile. "Trust me, sister. This will change everything." The sister's hands shook. She wanted to run, but her feet felt stuck to the floor. She wanted to scream, but the room was silent after the reveal. But the silence was heavy, not peaceful. The sister's eyes stayed locked on the young man sitting in the middle of the room. She had never seen a human like this, not so close, not so real. Humans were stories, rumors, something distant, something strange, and now one of them was right here in her house. Her hands shook as she whispered, "Brother, why did you bring him here?" The brother leaned against the wall, his arms crossed, watching her reaction carefully. His smile was faint but firm. "Because, sister, you wanted a pet. But pets cannot speak to you, cannot share your thoughts, cannot stand beside you when life becomes hard. A human can. He is not just a gift. He is proof that we can have more than what the world tells us." The sister looked at the human again. His face was pale, his eyes sharp but quiet. His wrists were tied with a thin rope, but he made no attempt to escape. He sat still, breathing slowly, like someone who had already accepted his fate. "You can't do this," the sister said quickly, her voice shaking. "This is wrong. Where did you even get him? You can't just walk into a market and buy a human." The brother chuckled softly. "No, you cannot buy a human, but you can save one." The words hung in the air, heavy and strange. The sister blinked, not sure she had heard him right. "Save? What do you mean?" The brother pushed himself away from the wall and stepped closer to the human. He crouched down, untied the rope from the young man's hands, and tossed it aside. The human rubbed his wrists slowly, carefully, but still stayed silent. "Speak," the brother said gently. "Tell her your name." The human raised his eyes. For the first time, he looked directly at the sister. His gaze was steady, deep, and unsettling. His lips parted, and his voice was quiet but clear. "My name is Daniel," the sister gasped. A real name, a real voice. Not an animal's cry, not the noise of some alien pet. Words. Human words. Daniel shifted slightly, his hands resting on his knees. "I don't know why I am here, but I know I am not safe out there." The sister's heart raced. She wanted to ask 100 questions, but none of them left her mouth. Instead, she stared, frozen between fear and fascination. Her brother stood up again, looking satisfied. "See, he's not dangerous. He's not wild. He is human, and that makes him more valuable than any creature you could ever own." The sister shook her head. "Valuable? He's not a thing. He's not some toy to keep in the house. He's a person. People don't belong in cages or under sheets." Daniel's lips curved into the faintest smile. "Thank you," he said softly, his eyes never leaving hers. "Not everyone remembers that." The sister took a step back, her mind racing. Who was this man? Why did her brother bring him here? What trouble was now sitting in her home, wearing human skin and speaking with human words? "Brother," she said firmly, "this is dangerous. If someone finds out, we will be in trouble. Do you understand? People don't keep humans in their homes. It's not allowed. It's forbidden." The brother's expression hardened. "And why is it forbidden, sister?" "Because they fear humans. Because they know what humans can do. Because humans are not weak pets. They are strong, clever, and unstoppable when they choose to be. That is why the rules say we cannot have them. That is why I had to bring him." The sister's breath caught in her throat. His words were frightening but also full of strange pride, as if he believed in the human more than he believed in himself. Daniel looked down at the floor, his face calm but his eyes shadowed. "He's right," Daniel said. "Humans are not pets, but to many out there, we are nothing more than tools. Nothing more than things to be used. I don't want to go back to that life." The sister felt her stomach twist. His voice carried pain, real pain, hidden behind quiet words. She could almost feel the weight of his story, even though he hadn't told it yet. She stepped closer without meaning to. Her voice was softer now. "Daniel, where did you come from?" Daniel raised his eyes again, his gaze steady, unblinking. "I came from a place you would never want to see. A place where humans are not free, where we are chained, trained, and treated worse than any animal. I escaped. Or maybe I was freed. I don't know. But I know one thing, if they find me, they will not stop. They will take me back." A chill ran through the sister's spine. She turned to her brother. "You see? This is not a gift. This is danger. If someone comes here looking for him, they will destroy us both." Her brother only smiled, calm and stubborn. "Let them come. We will be ready. Until then, he stays. He is ours now." The sister felt the air grow heavy again. Her eyes shifted from her brother to Daniel and then back to her brother. Her mind spun with fear, with doubt, with questions she could not answer. Daniel sat silently once more, his face calm but his presence powerful. He was not a pet, not a gift, not a toy. He was something else entirely, something that could change everything. And deep down, the sister knew her life would never be the same again. Her voice had left her. In front of her sat not a pet, not a gift, but a mystery that could destroy or transform their lives forever. And in that moment, she realized her brother's gift was not just strange. It was dangerous. The night outside was cold and dark, but inside the small house, the air was thick with tension. The sister sat at the edge of the couch, her eyes locked on the human, Daniel, while her brother leaned casually against the wall, as if nothing unusual had happened. Her mind was storming with thoughts. This was not what she wanted. She had asked for a pet, something small, something harmless, something simple. Instead, her brother had brought a human, a living person with eyes that seemed to hold more secrets than she could ever understand. Daniel sat quietly on the chair across the room. His posture was straight but tired, like someone who had walked too far and carried too much weight. He did not move much, only shifting his gaze from the sister to the brother, then back again. His calmness made her uneasy, as though he was hiding something deep inside. Finally, the sister broke the silence. Her voice was sharp but shaky. "You can't stay here," she said, looking directly at Daniel. "You don't belong here. This is not right." Daniel's eyes softened and he spoke in a low voice. "I know I don't belong anywhere. But where should I go? Out there I will be hunted. Here at least I can breathe." The sister's heart skipped. His words were simple, yet they carried a heavy truth. She wanted to deny it, but deep down she knew he was right. If he left, others would find him, and those others would not show mercy. The brother stepped forward, his tone steady. "Sister, listen. I didn't bring him here to cause trouble. I brought him because he needs us. And whether you admit it or not, we need him too." She glared at him. "Need him? For what? He's a human, not a tool. Not a pet. Not weak," her brother interrupted firmly. "Not useless. He's proof that humans are more than what the world believes. Don't you see? We've been told lies about them all our lives." The sister felt anger rising inside her chest. "Lies or not, this is dangerous. If someone finds out, they'll punish us. They'll punish me. And all because of your foolish idea." Daniel shifted in his chair, his voice calm but steady. "He's not wrong, humans. We are not what you've been told. We are not just possessions. We are more. But those who fear us, they will never let that truth spread." The sister turned her gaze to him, her eyes narrowing. "Then why are you here? Why did you let him bring you?" Daniel's lips curled into a faint, bitter smile. "You think I had a choice? I was caught, chained, treated like something less than an animal. He found me there. He freed me." The sister froze. Freed? Her brother had said he brought Daniel, but she had not imagined it was from such a place. A chill crawled down her spine as the image formed in her head. Cages, chains, humans treated like animals in a market. Her voice trembled. You're saying you were a prisoner?" Daniel nodded slowly. "A prisoner. A possession. Whatever word you prefer, but not anymore." His eyes burned with quiet strength as he added, "And I will never go back." The sister looked away, unable to hold his gaze. Something in his eyes scared her, not because it was violent, but because it was strong. Too strong. Her brother walked closer to her, lowering his voice. "You wanted a companion, sis? Someone who understands, someone who listens. Tell me honestly, don't you already feel it? Look at him. He's not just company. He's the answer to everything we never knew we were missing." The sister shook her head, her voice low and stubborn. "No, he's trouble. Nothing but trouble." But even as she said it, her eyes betrayed her. She kept glancing at Daniel, drawn to his calmness, his quiet power, his humanity. He was not shouting, not fighting, not begging. He was simply there, present in a way no animal ever could be. The brother smirked knowingly. "You'll see. You'll understand soon." Daniel leaned forward slightly, his voice softer now. "I don't want to be a burden. If you tell me to leave, I'll go. I won't fight you. But know this, out there I won't last long. And if they find me again, they won't stop with me. They'll come here too. They'll come for you." The words cut through the air like a blade. The sister felt her breath catch in her throat. She wanted to scream, to deny it, but deep inside she knew it was true. His presence had already changed everything. Sending him away would not erase the danger. Keeping him would only increase it. For the first time, she saw not just a stranger sitting in her living room, but a human being with scars she could not see, with a story she could not hear in full yet, with a shadow that reached far beyond her small house. Her brother crossed his arms again, his voice calm. "So, sister, what will it be? Do we protect him or do we send him to his death?" The sister said nothing. Her hands trembled in her lap, her mind torn between fear and curiosity. Daniel leaned back, silent once more. But in his silence was strength, and in his presence was a question that would not go away. And in that moment, the sister knew this was only the beginning. The night deepened, and the small house grew quiet. The sister tried to rest, but sleep refused to come. Her mind was restless, filled with thoughts of Daniel, the human now sitting under her roof. She turned on her side, closed her eyes, and tried to push the image away, but the questions kept returning. Who was he really? Where had he come from? And most of all, why did her brother bring him here? The silence of the night was soon broken. Faint sounds drifted through the thin walls, low whispers, almost like someone talking to themselves. The sister sat up quickly, her heart beating faster. The voice was not her brother's, it was Daniel's. Quietly, she tiptoed to the small room where Daniel was staying. The door was half open and she peeked inside. Daniel was lying on the bed, his eyes closed, his body still, but his lips moved, speaking words in his sleep. At first, she thought it was ordinary sleep talk. But as she listened, she realized the words were strange, foreign, unfamiliar, not part of any language she had ever heard. His tone shifted from soft whispers to urgent mutters, as if he was trapped inside a dream, fighting against shadows she could not see. Her stomach tightened. She stepped closer, careful not to wake him. "Corel, Mira, don't leave." His voice trembled, broken with emotion. Then his body jerked slightly as if someone had touched him in the dream. The sister froze. These were not random words. They were names. Names she had never heard before. Her brother appeared behind her silently, making her jump. "Why are you standing here?" he asked in a low voice. She pointed at Daniel, her whisper sharp. He's talking in his sleep. Listen." Both of them leaned closer. Daniel's voice grew stronger, though still trapped in dreamlike rhythm. "Chains. The light. Run. We must run before they come." The sister's skin crawled. His words painted pictures she could not understand but could feel. The image of chains, escape, pursuit. His nightmares were alive in his voice. Finally, Daniel gasped, his body shaking, and he opened his eyes. He sat up quickly, sweat on his forehead, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. His eyes darted around the room until they landed on the sister and brother. For a moment, silence returned. Then Daniel whispered, "You heard me. Didn't you?" The sister stepped back, her voice trembling. "Who were you talking to? What are those names?" Daniel looked down at his hands, his face shadowed. "People I lost," he said quietly. "People who were taken, or worse." Her brother's eyes narrowed. "Taken by who?" Daniel's lips tightened. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stood up, walking to the small window. The moonlight painted his figure in silver, making him look even more like someone out of place, someone who didn't belong to this world. "They come at night," Daniel finally said, his voice low. "They hunt humans like animals. They chain us, use us, sell us. Some call them masters. I call them monsters." The sister shivered. She felt a knot of fear in her chest. "And you think they will come here? For you?" Daniel turned to her, his eyes sharp now. "Not think, I know. They always come. When one escapes, they search. They never let go." The room grew colder with his words. The sister hugged herself, shaking her head. "Brother, you hear this? This is not safe. He brings danger with him. He talks in his sleep, he dreams of chains, he knows they will come. Why did you do this?" But her brother's face remained calm, even stubborn. "Because he's worth it. Don't you see, sister? This is proof. Proof that humans are more than pets, more than things. He remembers, he feels, he fights. That is why they fear him." Daniel lowered his gaze, his voice heavy with quiet pain. "Your brother is right. We are not weak, but strength comes with a price, and that price is danger." The sister's legs felt weak and she sank onto a chair. She buried her face in her hands. "What are we supposed to do now? Hide you forever? Pretend you are not here? If they come, we will be destroyed." Daniel walked slowly toward her. His steps were soft, his eyes calm but filled with fire. "I don't ask for forever. I only ask for a chance to live even for a little while. I cannot promise safety, but I can promise this. I will not let them take me without a fight." The sister looked up at him, her heart caught between fear and something she didn't want to admit. Admiration. There was strength in him, a quiet force she could not ignore. Her brother placed a hand on her shoulder. "We don't have to decide tonight. But remember, sis, we were born into rules we never questioned. Maybe it's time to question them." The night dragged on, heavy with silence after his words, but sleep did not return to the sister. Each time she closed her eyes, she saw Daniel whispering in the dark, speaking names of people she didn't know. fighting battles in dreams that she could barely imagine. She realized then that this human carried more than chains from his past. He carried secrets, and those secrets were now inside her home. And deep down, she feared those secrets would soon knock at their door. Morning light crept slowly through the small cracks in the shutters. The sister had barely slept, her mind still trapped in the memory of Daniel's whispers in the night. Those strange words, those names, the fear in his voice. It all echoed inside her head. She found her brother in the kitchen, calmly preparing food as if nothing had changed. He looked at her and smiled. "Good morning, sis," but she didn't return the smile. "There's nothing good about it. We need to talk." Before her brother could answer, Daniel stepped into the room. His hair was messy, his face pale, but his eyes sharp and awake. He sat quietly at the table, waiting. The sister glared at her brother. "Enough games. I want the truth. Where did you find him? Why did you bring him here?" Her brother's smile faded. He placed the knife down slowly, then leaned against the counter. His eyes darkened, but his voice was steady. "I didn't find him, sister. I took him. From a place no one should ever see." Daniel lowered his gaze, his voice heavy. "The cages. That's what he means." The sister's heart froze. "Cages, what do you mean?" Daniel looked up, his voice slow, controlled, but full of weight. "Humans, like me, are kept in cages, locked away like animals. We are trained, sold, or displayed like prizes. To some, we are nothing more than pets. To others, tools. My cage was deep underground, hidden from the eyes of the world. That is where your brother found me." The sister covered her mouth with her hand, horror spreading across her face. "That can't be true. Not cages. Not people." Her brother stepped forward, his voice sharper now. "It is true. I saw it with my own eyes. Dozens of humans, chained, broken, treated worse than beasts. And no one stops it. No one cares. That's why I brought him here. To prove that humans are not possessions, they are people." The sister shook her head slowly. "But why? Why risk everything? If the guards or hunters find out, they'll destroy us. They'll destroy this house." Her brother's jaw tightened. "Because it's wrong. Because I couldn't just walk away and leave him there." Daniel's voice broke the silence, steady but heavy. "I didn't ask him to save me. But he did, and now, you are part of this too." The sister's chest tightened. She didn't want to be part of this. She wanted a quiet life, a safe life. But now there was no turning back. She whispered, her voice trembling. How long were you in that place?" Daniel's eyes darkened with memory. "I lost count of the days. Maybe months. Maybe years. Time has no meaning in chains. All I know is the sound of locks, the echo of footsteps, and the faces of others who never made it out." The sister felt tears sting her eyes. She had asked for a pet, a small joy, and instead her brother had brought her a nightmare wrapped in human skin. But at the same time, she couldn't look away. Daniel's presence was heavy, powerful. His words carried more weight than anything she had ever heard. Her brother's voice broke through her thoughts. "Now you understand. This isn't just about you wanting a pet. This is bigger. This is about truth, about what's hidden from us. Daniel is proof of something they never wanted us to see," the sister whispered. "Proof of what?" Daniel's eyes met hers. "Proof that humans endure. That no matter how many chains they put on us, we remember who we are. And when the time comes, we fight." His words cut through her like fire. For the first time, she saw not just a victim, not just a rescued man, but something more. Something dangerous, something unbreakable. She turned to her brother, her voice soft but urgent. "Do you even realize what you've done? By bringing him here, you've painted a target on us. If they know he escaped, they will search. And if they find him here, they won't," her brother interrupted firmly. "Not if we're careful. Not if we stay strong." But Daniel shook his head. "No, they will come. They always come. You can't hide me forever. I've seen it before. When one human escapes, the hunters follow. They track, they sniff, they search until the trail ends. And when it does, there is blood." The sister's face drained of color. She turned sharply to her brother. "And you think this is worth it? Risking us? Risking me?" Her brother's eyes softened, but his voice remained firm. "Yes, because this is bigger than just us. Keeping Daniel alive means keeping the truth alive. If we don't protect him, then we are no better than those who locked him in chains." Daniel closed his eyes briefly, then whispered, "I don't want to bring death to your door, but I cannot go back. And if I must fight, then I will fight. The sister sat down, her body trembling. Her brother had thrown them into a storm she never asked for, and Daniel was the storm's center. She could feel the weight of his truth pressing against her chest. Her brother walked closer, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. Sister, listen. I know you're afraid, but look at him. Really look at him. Does he look like an enemy, or does he look like a man who deserves a chance? The sister raised her eyes to Daniel. He stood tall, his face pale but proud, his gaze strong. And in that moment she could no longer see him as just a gift or a burden. He was something else. Something rare, something dangerous, and she knew, whether she liked it or not, her life had already changed forever. The house felt heavier than before, as if the walls themselves had learned the truth and were now pressing down on everyone inside. The sister sat quietly near the window, staring at the morning light, her mind torn apart by fear and questions. She had not asked for this. She had asked for a pet, something small, something harmless. Instead, she now carried the weight of another life, a human life hidden inside her home. Daniel stood near the table, silent, his hands folded. His presence filled the room, though he said nothing. The brother moved about with restless energy, checking doors, peeking outside, pacing as though expecting someone to knock at any moment. The sister finally broke the silence. Her voice was low, almost trembling. We cannot keep this going. If they come here, if they search the houses, what will we do then? The brother turned quickly, his eyes sharp. We protect him. We fight if we must, she shook her head. You say that so easily. But fighting means death. And not just for him, for us too. Daniel lifted his gaze, his voice calm and steady. She's right. You cannot carry this burden forever. If you send me away, you may be safe. The sister looked at him, surprised by his words. He did not speak with anger. He spoke with acceptance, as though he had already considered this outcome. The brother slammed his hand against the table. No, don't say that. We didn't pull you out of those cages just to throw you back into danger. You belong here now. Daniel's lips curved into the faintest smile, but his eyes held sadness. Do I? I am not part of this family. I am not part of this world. My presence only brings risk. The sister leaned forward, her eyes locked on him. Then why stay silent? Why sit here letting us argue when your life is in our hands? Tell me, what do you want? Daniel looked at her directly, his voice soft but firm. I want freedom. Nothing more. Not chains, not cages, not fear. If I stay here, it is not to hide forever. It is to find a chance. A chance to live as a human, not as a possession. His words pierced her heart. For a moment, she forgot her fear and saw only the weight he carried. She saw the scars, invisible but deep, carved by years of captivity. Her brother leaned closer to her. Sis, you see now, don't you? He's not a pet. He's not a burden. He's a person who deserves a choice, and we can give him that. But the sister felt torn in two. On one side was fear, the danger of hunters, the threat of punishment, the weight of breaking rules. On the other side was something she didn't want to admit. A strange respect for Daniel, for his quiet strength, for his refusal to beg or break. She whispered to herself, what if we cannot protect him? What if protecting him means losing everything? Daniel stepped closer. His voice was calm, almost gentle. Then let me go. If I die out there, it is my fate, not yours. I do not want you to suffer because of me. But those words only made her heart twist tighter. His willingness to sacrifice himself was not weakness, it was strength. It was humanity. Her brother spoke firmly. No, we won't let you go. You belong here now, and we will decide together what comes next. The sister rose from her chair, her voice sharper now. And if we decide wrong? If tomorrow the hunters find us? If tomorrow we are dragged away too? What then, brother? What then, Daniel? Daniel's eyes did not flinch. Then tomorrow we fight. Better to fall free than to live in chains. The sister's breath caught in her chest. His words were simple, but they struck like thunder. She saw it now. He was not just a rescued man. He was a fire waiting to rise. The brother placed a hand on her shoulder. The choice is ours, sis. Hide him or let him go. Fear or courage.
What will it be?
The sister closed her eyes, her body trembling. She thought of the nights she had wished for a companion, the loneliness she had felt, the simple dream of having something warm beside her. Now she had Daniel. A human who spoke, who felt, who carried pain but also hope. When she opened her eyes, her voice was quiet but certain. We keep him, but not as a secret. not as a possession. If he stays as a human. As Daniel. Daniel's face softened, and for the first time a true smile touched his lips. Thank you. But the brother's eyes darkened, glancing at the window. Then we must be ready. Because they will come. And when they do, we will have no choice left but to stand together. The sister looked outside, the horizon glowing with the first touch of evening light. She felt the weight of her choice pressing on her chest, but also something else. A spark of courage she had never known before. And in that moment, she understood. The choice had been made. The danger was real, and their lives would never be the same again. The sun dipped low, painting the sky with fading red and gold. The small house stood in uneasy silence, as though it knew what was coming. Inside, the sister sat near the window, her fingers clenched tightly together. She had made her choice. Daniel would stay. But now that the choice was made, fear grew stronger with every breath. Daniel sat calmly at the table, his eyes fixed on the fading light. He looked almost peaceful, but his calmness did not comfort her. It scared her more. He was too quiet, too certain, as if he had already seen what was about to come. Her brother moved through the house, checking the locks again and again. His movements were quick, restless, like a man preparing for a storm. The sister finally spoke. Do you really believe we can face them, brother? If they come here, if they find us, do you think we can win? He turned to her, his jaw tight. I don't know if we can win, but I know we cannot run forever. If they come, we fight. That is the only way. Daniel's voice joined, soft but steady. He is right. They will not stop. And when they arrive, it will not matter if you hide me or send me away. Their eyes will already be on this place. The sister's chest tightened. Then what hope do we have? Daniel leaned forward, his gaze sharp now. Hope is not given, it is made. When the chains fall, when the hunters arrive, the only question will be, do we kneel or do we stand? His words lit a strange fire in her. She hated it, but she also felt drawn to it. Fear and courage mixed inside her chest like two flames twisting together. Suddenly, the night air shifted. A faint hum echoed in the distance, low at first, then rising. The sister froze, her ears straining. The sound was unnatural, metallic, like engines cutting through the sky. Her brother rushed to the window, pulling back the curtain just slightly. His face turned pale. They're here. The sister jumped to her feet. Already? How? Daniel stood slowly, his body tall, his eyes burning with a strange calm. Because they always come. Outside, bright lights pierced the darkening sky, 3, 4, maybe more. Strange vessels hovered above the fields, their beams scanning the ground like predators searching for prey. The hum grew louder, pressing against the walls, vibrating through the floor. The sister's heart raced. What do we do? Brother, what do we do? Her brother grabbed a hidden weapon from under the table, a blade, rough but sharp, glowing faintly with old energy. His voice was steady but fierce. We stand, just like he said. Daniel moved closer, placing a hand on the weapon. If you fight with me. I will not hide while others bleed for me. The sister's eyes widened. No, you'll be killed. They'll take you back. Daniel turned to her, his face calm, his voice deep. If I die free, then I die as myself. If I live in chains, I am nothing. Remember that, sister. The vessels outside grew closer, the lights sweeping across the field, moving toward the house. Shadows danced across the walls as the beams brushed past the windows. The brother whispered, They know. They're coming for us. Daniel's eyes narrowed, his voice low and certain. Then let them come. Tonight they will learn that humans are not pets. We are not weak. We are not theirs to take. The sister's breath shook as she pressed her back to the wall, fear crawling through her veins. Yet deep inside something shifted. For the first time she believed his words. For the first time, she saw Daniel not as a danger, not as a gift, but as something greater, proof of strength, proof of resistance. The house trembled as a vessel descended nearby, its engines roaring, its lights blinding. The sound of heavy steps followed outside, figures moving, searching, closing in. The brother raised his blade. Daniel stood tall beside him, and the sister clenched her fists, her fear turning slowly into something she could barely recognize, courage. The door rattled once, then again. Then a voice cold and sharp called from outside. Give him to us, or we burn this place to the ground. Silence followed. The sister's heart thundered in her chest. She looked at her brother. She looked at Daniel, and in their eyes she saw no surrender. Her brother spoke first, his voice strong. "You want him? Then come and take him." The silence broke as the door shook violently, the wood groaning under the force. "The hunters were here," Daniel whispered one last time, his words burning into her mind. "Tonight everything changes," and then the door burst open,